Folks, what's up? This is Michael on the Graveyard Shift, getting your day started with a brand new trivia question. I hope your week is going well. It's thankfully Thursday, and I'm certainly thankful for everything that you guys do, and I appreciate it very much. So the answer to the previous trivia question was, of course, what was known as Public Enemy number one. And, of course, the focus of the trivia question was John Dillinger. So Public Enemy is a term which was first widely used in the United States to describe individuals whose activities were seen as criminal and extremely damaging to society. Now, the expression public enemy, believe it or not, actually dates back to going all the way back to Roman times. In AD 68, was where my research took me, way back, where members of the great Roman Senate would often declare people as hostis publicus, which is a direct translation of which means public enemy, quite frankly. And I could see a bunch of Roman people in their togas, in a bar, maybe had a little too much beer, had a little too much to drink, going, "Oh yeah, well you're nothing but a hostis publicus," something to that effect. And that's probably where it originated. I'm sure, history, played out a little different than that, but you get my meaning. So, anyways, during the centuries that followed, the hostis publicus insulting, throw around back and forth, the term was used to describe pirates, Vikings, and highwaymen, those people who had pillaged through the land and the ocean and across the world and everything else. Then we moved into the era, one of my favorite eras to study and research, history buffs, of bandits, mobsters, and similar outlaws, the great Western outlaws. And in the 1930s, now we're entering into the dirty 30s, the Depression era. This was coupled with Prohibition, which was just a disaster in and of itself, but that's the focus of another trivia question altogether. Now all this combined ushered in gangsters and organized crime. Okay, so the term public enemy became widely used and eventually a regular term that caught on with newspapers, talking heads of the time, and of course, most significantly, law enforcement. So jump to the FBI, jump to the federal. Now, J. Edgar Hoover, who was famous for leading the FBI, the FBI is founded around the turn of the century. J. Edgar Hoover, who had joined the FBI in the 1920s, was just coming into his own power, this enormous power that he held over the FBI for years. And the term public enemy number one would soon become synonymous with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and their manhunts that they would conduct and their list of what would eventually become the 10 most wanted. The most wanted. This is where this all kind of originated and culminated into. This was used to describe various notorious fugitives that they were pursuing throughout that era of the Dirty 30s. And this included people like Babyface Nelson, Bonnie and Clyde, Pretty Boy Floyd, Machine Gun Kelly. No, not the guy, not the rock guy, rapper, whatever he is. Horrible performer, by the way. And the likes of Ma Barker. And, of course, John Dillinger, who gets the credit as the first official FBI's public enemy number one. All of these people are pictured right there. And all of them, just about all of them, by the way, have been featured in previous trivia questions. If you're a frequent listener, both of you all out there. Anyways, it was public enemy number one was used by the FBI in speeches, books, press releases, and internal memoranda back in this day while they were pursuing all these people. And it remains in usage to this day. Every once in a while on the talking heads like CNN, breaking news, etc., when a criminal is on the run, if they will, you'll hear somebody cite and reference public enemy number one, most wanted. I remember the 2013 Boston Marathon bombings when those two, I forget their names off the top of my brain, went on the lam very briefly. Public enemy number one and the most wanted was used when they were hunting those two criminals down and eventually caught them. So it's these terms are still used today, and there's a little bit of history for you for sure. Make sure you don't become public enemy number one. All right, folks, let's get the day started with a brand new trivia question. Here we go, off and running for June 23rd. On this day in 1970, this technology corporation, which was founded as a merger of 3 companies originally, announces that it will begin pricing its software and services separately from hardware, thus creating the modern software industry as we know it. Good luck, folks. Have a good, thankful Thursday. Peace out.